Qudratic!
That's quadratic!
But you can't make fun of quadratics because it'd be core of math. And there are 3 ways to solve quadratic equation. First is by factoring. Second is by completing the squares. Third is using quadratic formula. First, we would like to talk about factoring because it's the easiest and the simplest way. So the example question for factoring is, okay. First, we want to factor this so it can be simple and we can know what x is. So, what do you think x squared minus x minus 20 is? Okay, it will be something like this, I think, which you learned in middle school. And by looking at this, when this function equals to 0, is whenever the thing in the bracket are 0. So, for example, for this bracket, when can it be 0? Since this is minus 5, it can be only 0 when x is 5. So, x equals 5. And how about this bracket? When does this bracket equal to 0? Since this is plus 4, this whole equation can be only 0 when x is minus 4. So, it's going to be something like this. In order to solve quadratic equation fast, efficiently, whichever you want, it requires practice. So, I'm going to give you some practice questions.
That's so easy!
For this one,
What did I do wrong? I did perfectly!
well, you didn't do completely wrong. You got this right. But this is not only the answer. When does this become 0? Yes, if you plug 1 over 2 to x, it's going to be 0. But is that the only answer? Because if you have 0 here, this equation is going to be 0. So, you add 0.
Oh, I got it! That's so close.
Next is complete the squares. You use complete the squares when you can't factor the equation. The example for completing the square is can you see that you can't factor this equation? So what you're going to do is complete the squares. Like literally completing the squares. You're just going to ignore 13 because you don't really use it in this equation. Look at this x squared plus 10x and think what it will become when it's going to be squared. Something squared. For example, like equation like this can be factored to x plus 3 to the power of 2. This is the same concept, and as you can see the 3 here, this is times 2, and this is squared, like 3 squared. So you're gonna use this concept in this, so it's going to be x squared plus 10, x plus something, which is going to be x plus something squared. So what do you think this blank is going to be? As you can see in this part, the middle, like the 1x with no exponent, is times 2 from this factored thing. So you're just going to divide this by 2, and it's going to be 5. And then, as you can see that this squared is going to be the constant. Yeah, constant. Constant, so this squared is 25. So you're going to use this equation to make it factored. Easy to know what x is. So, let's see. So this is going to be 5. And, okay, I don't have space to write. So this equation is going to be x squared plus 10x plus 25 to complete the square, and plus 13 because it's in from the equation. And also, since you added 25 here, like you're just adding it to the equation, so you have to subtract it to make it equal. So just gonna minus 25 for that, and 0. So just gonna calculate that to x plus 5 squared, and add this together. No, add these together. What is that? Minus 12. So x is going to be x plus 5 squared equals 12. X plus 5 equals plus or minus root 12. X equals plus or minus root 12 minus 5. Here are some example questions.
Ooh, that seems hard.
You got it all right! Before going on to quadratic equation, I would like to prove the equation to solve quadratics. So this is going to be the formula for a quadratic equation, and this can be used into every kind of quadratic equation. Okay, then the example question for quadratic formula is okay, this is definitely not factorable, so we're going to use the new formula we learned today, quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is by the way, I have this weird B, but this is B, so and these are the words here, but it kind of represents a number. And A is this part. This is A. This part is B. This part is C. So the number coefficient of x squared is going to be A. Coefficient of 1x, like x, is going to be B. And the constant number is C. So by using this formula, it's going to be so this is going to be so this is going to be the answer for x. Practice question. You have it all right. And that is it for today.
Next video is quadratic function. So there are some practice questions below. So if you want to, please solve them. And there is an email address, so please feel free to email us. Bye bye!